If you've ever received a sample back from a manufacturer and it came back completely wrong, in this video I'm gonna tell you exactly why that keeps happening, and more importantly, I'm gonna help you fix it forever. And I'm gonna give it to you under 20 minutes within this entire video. So let's go ahead and get started. Most brand owners and designers spend $3,000 to $5,000 to even $10,000 to figure out what I'm about to tell you for free. This video is specifically for founders who've already tried, founders who've already worked with manufacturers, who've already got samples before, who've already did drops, and you hit a roadblock. Don't feel bad, because I was once too in that same exact spot. 9 times out of 10, you're probably sending the manufacturer screenshots, you're probably sending them references, you're telling them I want the sample made like this, and they're still doing it completely wrong, even though you were super clear, or at least you thought you were super clear on the product. I need you to stay here because this is exactly for you. If you haven't started yet, or if you're just in the beginner phases, this video will be a little bit more detailed and a little bit more advanced for you. Most importantly, for people that haven't started yet, you have to go out and see if people really want your idea. A lot of people are scared to just go out and try. So if you're a beginner, that's what I advise you to do. Go out and fail a little bit. So who am I? My name is Jamari Caldwell, aka Jimmy, aka Big Slept On, whatever you all want to call me. I created my brand the same exact month that Virgil went to Louis Vuitton. I grew my brand Slept On over 6 figures probably a year and a half ago. So I experienced just about everything within this industry. And I can say this firsthand, man, that shit was not easy, dog. I've worked with all different types of manufacturers. I've made things on hand. I've done pop-up shops. I've done fashion shows. I've worked with celebrities, just about everything. For the first 4 years of my brand, I was hand in hand with it. Like the first 2 years, I didn't even have a website, man. I was out the trunk. So I had my first 10K day in 2020 on Twitter. I personally believe that designers are the new rock stars, right? Being a designer is like being a rapper back in 2016 right now. With people like Kai Cenat jumping into the fashion lane is making it even more popular. So being that I'm 8 years in, I feel like it's my duty to be a pioneer, to teach the younger designers and to teach the people that's getting into fashion now and the younger generation that's getting into fashion now how to do it correctly. Because me personally, I had to learn the hard way. When I started in 2018, there was no videos like this, no one telling me how to do it. I had to get it out the mud. I remember when I got my first bulk order, man, I didn't have no clue what I was doing. It had this Pakistan manufacturer that hit me up on Instagram and told me they wanted to work. At the time, I had just got this Leatherman jacket sample back from a China manufacturer. Sample was crazy, it was fire, and I was about to drop it. This Pakistan manufacturer hit me up. He basically said, we can make the same product for you at a cheaper price, quicker, and lower MOQ. That should have been a red flag for me off don't, but I was there early in the stages, I did not know. So I got on FaceTime with bro. And long story short, in the background while he's showing me the factory, I see another brand that I know. I'm like, damn, I just found the plug. Mind you, I just moved to Houston. I see this brand from Dallas in the background. I'm like, man, I just found the plug. I'm tapped in. Man, I ran a pre-order for that Letterman jacket. Long story short, 2 weeks came, 4 weeks came, a month, 2 months, 3 months. Next thing I know, his factory was flooding, all different type of stuff. That's when I knew I got scammed, bro. That was like 2 bands that went down the drain. The next mistake, I went use another Pakistan manufacturer, which was I should never did that. This manufacturer, for one, took 5 months to make the clothes. Once I finally received the clothes, the sizing was horrible. Like, that shit was insane, man. And during that phase, that's when I realized, okay, it's not the manufacturer's fault. I realized at that moment it was my fault. I made a few mistakes. One, I followed the trend and went to Pakistan when I was already with China and I had rapport of good manufacturers. Why did I go to Pakistan? 2, I didn't give proper measurement. I didn't do proper documentation for the manufacturer to even make it correctly. After I paid the money, after I received the product, that's when he told me, well, you didn't tell me this. You didn't make this clear. So I just made it to the best of my knowledge. These brands out here had denim pants and denim jackets and full sweaters and suits and all kind of stuff being made while I was still using a vinyl cutter and a Cricut machine. Could you imagine like that shock that I had in my mind around that time when back home my brand is popping? I had my first 10K day already. I did all that already. Like, I did all that before I came to Houston. So imagine coming here and seeing those type of brands. I'm like, damn. And the first attempt I had at trying to do that the manufacturer scammed me. And then the second attempt of me trying to do that, the manufacturer sent all the sizing wrong. It wasn't the manufacturer, it was me the whole time. I didn't understand sizing, I didn't understand fabric, I didn't understand construction. I was just out here guessing. I was just out here just creating willy-nilly. And from that moment, I knew that I needed to do something about that. And here's the problem you're currently facing. Because 9 times out of 10, this is exactly where you're at. You're explaining stuff to the manufacturer, but it's not coming back how you want it. And it's 3 phases to that. It's 3 phases to that problem. Phase 1 was the language gap, right? And I don't think a lot of people think about this. You and your manufacturer speak 2 completely different languages, not just English and Mandarin. I mean, like the way we articulate the product. You're going to your manufacturer and saying, I want to get this hoodie and I want it to be soft, or I want it to be heavyweight. That's every beginner's favorite word, heavyweight. Whereas the manufacturer speaks in actual terms. When you say heavyweight in a manufacturer term, it's actually the actual weight count. So 260 GSM, which is your gram per square meter. When you say oversized, they hear something completely different. When you say heavyweight, they hear something completely different. And generally, that's the miscommunications that ends up getting your product done wrong, right? Another thing that can happen is they can identify you as a beginner. They understand that you don't know what you're talking about. So you know what they're gonna do? Up the price. They're gonna get over on you because they know you don't know what you're talking about. Let me know if a manufacturer ever did this to you. You give them your idea and your product and you kind of already are clear on what you kind of want. Then they start offering you different things because it's cheaper. Why do you think they're doing that? Because they know you don't know what you want and you don't know what you're talking about. So you know what they're gonna do? They're gonna persuade you to do it in a form that's cheapest and easiest for them. Not for you, but for them. And that's the first downfall. The second part of my problem that I really had to understand was the documentation. I had to understand that the documentation controls the outcome. So what you do not document will not get done correctly. The manufacturer and the supplier can literally only create what you document. Bro, if you don't document correctly, you literally leave the entire piece up to the manufacturer. A lot of brand owners and designers do that. I used to do it. I used to go to the manufacturer with the idea and almost have them bring my idea to life completely. You have to understand, when working with the manufacturer, you should already understand and know the piece. You should know all the details about the piece already. They're literally just your execution partner. So only reason you're working with them is to make the piece for you. People usually forget that you're hiring them. They're doing a service for you. You feel me? You should know everything about your piece. And the manufacturer is literally just executing it for you. They're gonna build exactly what you give them. Not what you describe verbally, not what you sent screenshots of, not of your reference. They're gonna give you exactly what you give them to build, which is in the form of a tech pack. And I cannot stress this enough. This is not a manufacturer problem. This is a founder, brand owner, designer problem. As designers, we have to do better. How do you get into something and say you want to do something, but you don't know how to make it? You're not doing the proper research to make it, bro. A lot of you may be watching this video and never even searched up or did the proper research on how to do the things you want to do. You feel me? Like, we have to be way more intentional when creating these pieces, man. The market is too saturated to not be doing this correctly and properly. The last part of the problem that I had to understand, development is a system, not a feeling. You understand that? Every time you're designing a product, bro, it should not feel like a new school project. You shouldn't have to start over every single time you're building a new product. That's a problem. And you're wondering why your drops are so far apart. You're wondering why you can't get into a flow with this, because you're treating this like a school project. Documentation and product development is a system. Every new idea you have should not start from scratch. It should go through the same system as every other product, right? So if you have this new idea of this denim top and bottom set that you want to do, you shouldn't start from scratch. It should be the same exact system that you implement new ideas through. This shirt went through the same process as these shorts I had on. And if I was making a hat, this hat would go through the same exact process. That's exactly how it should be. A lot of people forget that this is a business. The business has to grow. The business has to continue moving. This is a machine. Designers get so caught up into the creativity part of it that they forget about the machine. The machine has to keep moving. In order for it to keep moving, it has to be in a consistent flow. And in order to be in a consistent flow, there needs to be a system. You feel me? And that's exactly what I'm going to teach you, the product development system. That's how we're going to solve the problem of constantly wasting money, the inconsistent drops, samples coming back wrong, and not understanding or knowing how to articulate your design to a manufacturer. That's all the shit that you should know, dog. But it's my job to be here to teach you. So, moving forward, let's kind of get into the solution. This is what the process actually looks like. Phase 1 is the documentation, of course. You have to understand what you are making. You have to get the product out of your head and onto paper, whether that's sketching, whether that's creating your own mock-up, whether that's just writing down notes. But I have to articulate, when doing this process, during the documentation process, you have to write this down and document it in a way that the manufacturer understands, meaning you have to learn the manufacturer's language. You can't just say, I want it dark red. No, you need the Pantone number. You need the hex code. I think during the documentation process, it's a lot of questioning. It's a lot of questioning that's going on because you have to understand what you know versus what you don't know. Before you can research, you have to understand what you don't know about it. For example, if I was making this piece is a full waffle knit, right? If I didn't know that, I would search up what's the material for a thermal print shirt, or what's the actual composition of a thermal fit, or I want to make a shirt for the summertime. What's fabrics are, you know what I'm saying? You have to do your research on what you're trying to do, man. Every piece should serve a purpose. So you have to do your due diligence when researching that purpose. If you're making a piece for the summer, why in the hell would you make it heavyweight? Unless it's intended for that. If you're saying you want the piece to be airy and free and flowing and lightweight, why would you make it 280 GSM? That makes zero sense. You only said 280 GSM because you saw that under somebody else's product description. You saw it in the Instagram caption. You heard it on TikTok. That's not how we build products, bro. You have to actually do your due diligence if you're going to make great products. Phase 2 within the product development system is the tech pack. Probably one of the most important documents within this whole system. But it often gets misconstrued. Having a tech pack alone is not the end all be all. Just because you have a tech pack, that does not mean the manufacturer will make it correctly. Within the tech pack, man, it's a lot of things, and understanding it and being able to communicate the tech pack is just important as having one. Because if you have one and don't know how to communicate it, you might as well not even have one. This document controls every decision when creating a piece. A lot of people have mock-ups. The mock-up only shows you what the product looks like. The tech pack, on the other hand, shows you and communicates how the product is actually built. The tech pack includes your fabric specs, your construction details, your measurements, everything with no guessing. It's exactly what you need. And if you have a really great tech pack, a really great I don't know how to say that word, communicative, is that a word? Communicative? If you have a great communicated tech pack, bro, your product will come exactly how the tech pack is made. But like I said, it also bundles with your ability to communicate the tech pack to the manufacturer. Phase 3. Phase 3 is the manufacturer communication, right? So during this phase, I think a lot of people have confusion because that kind of goes back to the first part of the problem that I mentioned. The manufacturer and your supplier speak one language while you speak a totally different language. So during this phase of the system, this is how you find the right manufacturer. A lot of beginners tend to go with the first manufacturer that says they can make it. Do not do that. Because of course they can make it, they want your money. Did you prove that they can make it? Did they show you references? Did they show you examples? Did they even show interest in your product? A great manufacturer will ask about every single detail in your tech pack before you even get to talking about pricing. And sometimes you have to vet the manufacturer. That's how people get overcharged, because they went with the first manufacturer that they have. They didn't double check prices. During this phase, you also should know how to send the tech pack. So when you send the tech pack, you usually give a brief understanding about the product and its intentionality and its purpose along with the tech pack. For example, this is what I would tell a manufacturer. Hey, so-and-so, I really want to work with your manufacturer. I love your work. This is my tech pack for said product. I made this product because I really want to create an airy summer vibe t-shirt. I want this shirt to be able to be worn all year round. I want this shirt to be able to be layered. I want this shirt to last for the next 5 years. I want this shirt to survive 1,000 washes. My intentionality for this shirt is to not fade. I don't want the product to fade. I want the product to keep its color throughout the years. That's just an example. Also, during the manufacturer communication part, you have to understand how to fact check samples. Pull out your tech pack and fact check every size measurement, every detail, every construction spec. So during the process with the manufacturer, they'll send photos, they'll send videos of them making the piece for your approval of the product. Every time they send you a photo, you shouldn't be getting excited because your piece is making progress. You should be fact checking everything. When they send you a photo of the sleeve or of a print, go back to your tech pack and make sure it matches. Make sure that fade is in the same exact spot. Make sure that wash is in the same exact way. You see what I'm saying? And that'll save you a lot of money, because once they ship the product to you and you realize you have something wrong, it's nothing you can do. You lost your money already. You need to be able to correct the problems while the manufacturer is still making the piece. That's how you not lose money. You never agree or approve anything that's wrong because you're excited. That's not a valid reason. Because they've taken too long, that's not a valid reason. You want the piece done correctly. Now, by all means, don't listen to me if you just want to make mediocre pieces. You don't have to listen to me at all, honestly. I work with a few founders every month, and it's just a lot of work working one-on-one with founders, so I don't take a lot, but I only work with a few founders, so if you don't want to listen to me, that's cool. I'm not tripping. But moving forward, the last step of the system is the launch process. So let's say you done went through everything, your product came back correctly. Now you have to get ready to launch. First thing about the launch process is you have to understand the timelines. A lot of people don't work with China manufacturers and prefer Pakistan manufacturers because Pakistan manufacturers are super quick. They make things quicker, it's easier, it's faster. But it's not that China manufacturers take long, that's the actual process. Fast fashion exists for a reason, because actual fashion is slow. The China manufacturer is not taking a long time, you're starting too late. If you're trying to put out something in August, why are you just starting to design in July? Bro, you're supposed to have that sample in way back in May. When you think about the timelines, your sample will take 30 days. Bulk will take another 45 to 60 days. You have to factor in that time frame. So if you did start late, you now have to start planning during your launch preparation when this is going to come out. How do I promote something that's going to come out 2-3 months from now? This is where you move into production properly. You have to understand your production costs, tariffs, shipping. You have to factor all in those costs. And then that also goes into the pricing structure of the piece. A lot of people don't take in all those things when pricing their product. They price it based upon the idea alone, which that's just not enough. And this is also where you set up a repeat process of how you take product to launch every single time. And the whole objective with this whole thing is to systemize it. If you want to hit those 50K months, if you want sold out drops, you got to get in the flow. You got to be consistent. If you don't nail these things and get these things systemized, you will never get into your flow, dog. I hate to say that, but it's true. But essentially, that's the system that got me past $100,000, bro. I needed to systemize everything. I needed everything to be repeatable. Now, I can make any product. I can communicate with any manufacturer. I can do it consistently. It don't matter the product. I can make some chairs right now if I want to. And that's why I want you to be, which is exactly why I feel like I gotta be the pioneer. I gotta teach you guys. So because of that, I started helping people through a mentorship. Like I said, I can only work with a few people, but it's strictly a one-on-one mentorship, and we go through the entire process, and I help you specifically for your business. I feel like that was the best way for me to give back, because when I was starting, it did not have people like me. No one was pulling my hand like, bro, this is what you need to do, this is what you need to get, this is what you need to research. Nobody was telling me that. I had to go through the trenches. It took me 6 years to understand this, of trials and tribulations and fails and wasted money and getting scammed and failed drops and inconsistent drops and 5-month breaks and rebrand after rebrand. And don't get me started, but I feel like I needed to be the change, bro. So now I feel indebted to the people that watch this video. So if you stayed on this video this entire time and you made it to this point, I'm gonna help you fix something right now today for free. You send me the product that you want to build, right? A photo, a reference, a sketch, and I will break down exactly what you need in your product, not your product, in your tech pack for free. Like I said, if you stayed to this point, you can take advantage of this. I'll put the link down below, and I'll do that tech pack breakdown for you for free. Now, if this video gave you any clarity, I need y'all to smash the like button for one, but also comment what you learned the most. I'm just getting back on YouTube. This is my first time being on YouTube talking about this specifically, but I feel like it was needed. If you know anybody else that's been struggling with the same exact problem that this video solves or that this video talks about, share it with them, man. It might save them a few $1,000s. And also yourself. I hope that save you 2 to 3 to 4 to 5 to 6, 7 bands, man, of wasted money on samples that can come back wrong because the same repetitive problem and the same repetitive mistake. I'm gonna go ahead and get up out of here, man. I appreciate your time. Like I said, the link is in the description if you stayed this far. I truly appreciate it. And until next time, I'm gonna catch y'all later.